Your C drive is running out of space. You check the big folders. You run disk cleanup. You delete everything you can find. Nothing explains the numbers. Then someone tells you to paste a path into File Explorer you have never seen before. You do it. A single file. A database buried inside a folder called CapabilityAccessManager. 66.5 gigabytes. On other machines, 70, on some, 90. In one documented case, the file crossed 500 gigabytes and left 0 bytes free on a 256 gigabyte SSD. That is a Windows 11 bug that Microsoft acknowledged with a single line buried in a routine changelog for an optional update. The line reads, "This update improves disk space usage for the CapabilityAccessManager.db-wal file." 7 words. To describe months of ruined machines, failed Windows updates, and support calls where the official answer from a Microsoft agent was to buy a bigger hard drive. Today, you are going to find out what this folder is, why Windows will not let you touch it, whether your machine is affected right now, and how to either fix it yourself or install the official patch that finally stops it. The folder lives at c:\ProgramData /Microsoft /Windows /Capability Access Manager. ProgramData is already a hidden folder. Windows does not show it even when you enable hidden items in File Explorer. You have to paste the full path directly into the address bar to get there at all. Inside that folder sits a file called CapabilityAccessManager.db-wal. Under normal conditions, that file should measure between 1 and 4 megabytes. That is its entire job. That is all it is supposed to do. Here is what it does on an affected machine. You right-click it and check Properties. The number you see is not measured in megabytes. It is measured in gigabytes, tens of them. On the machine belonging to Donald Gibson, the user who opened the thread on Microsoft's own Q&A forums in March of this year, the file had grown to 66.5 gigabytes. His 221 gigabyte hard drive was completely full. His computer, in his own words, was completely constipated. He is not alone. The same Microsoft Q&A thread that began with his post collected responses from user after user describing the same thing. 90 gigabytes, 99 gigabytes, 150 gigabytes. In one enterprise environment, a single affected machine carried the log file above 150 gigabytes before anyone caught it. And the thread kept growing. By June of this year, 6 months after the first report, users were still posting with the same problem and the same locked folder and the same useless responses from Microsoft support. One user named Alexis posted in June that the folder simply would not open at all, not in normal mode, not in administrator mode, not in safe mode. 99 gigabytes sitting behind a door with no handle. So what is this service and why is it eating your storage? Capability Access Manager, shortened to CAM, is the Windows component that enforces your privacy permissions. Every time an app asks to use your camera, your microphone, your location, your Bluetooth, or your screen capture, Windows logs that request through this service. It is the back-end machinery behind those toggles in Settings under Privacy and Security, the ones that tell you which apps can and cannot access your hardware. You have seen these prompts. Allow this app to access your microphone. Allow this app to use your location. Capability Access Manager is what processes and records every one of those decisions. The service maintains a SQLite database to store those permission records. SQLite is a standard database format used in software everywhere, and the way it handles writes includes a file called a write-ahead log. Instead of committing every permission event directly into the main database immediately, SQLite records the pending entries in the log first, then periodically flushes them into the main database through a process called checkpointing. Under normal conditions, this is efficient and completely invisible. The log stays small. The main database stays clean. The whole thing hums along in the background, and you never know it exists. The bug broke the checkpoint process. Something in the logic of Windows 11's Capability Access Manager caused the log to accumulate entries without ever fully flushing them into the main database. Every app permission request went in. Nothing came out. The log grew without any upper limit, without any cleanup routine triggering, and without any warning to the user. According to reporting by Windows Latest and confirmed by GAX in early July of this year, Microsoft's own documentation of the fix acknowledges a logic flaw that prevented the checkpoint from completing correctly, allowing the WAL file to keep accumulating indefinitely. And because the folder sits under ProgramData, which is hidden by default. And because the Capability Access Manager folder carries permissions assigned to the system account rather than the administrator account, most users cannot even open it to see what is inside. User Joshua Chiapelli, who posted to the same Microsoft thread in May of this year, found that even in safe mode with full administrator rights, the folder displayed an invalid owner string and denied access entirely. He could not run KDisk against it. He could not open it. The attempted access triggered a blue screen error on reboot, code page fault in non-paged area. One user described the experience simply: double-click the folder, access denied, no error dialog explaining why, no suggestion for what to do next, just a closed door in a room that was filling up with your storage every hour. Several things make this worse before we get to the fix. The first is that standard cleanup tools do not touch it. Disk cleanup does not see it. Storage Sense does not find it. Windows Update Cleanup does not remove it. It does not appear in the temporary files list. You can run every built-in tool Microsoft provides and walk away thinking your drive is clean while this file continues to grow in the background. The second is that it accelerates. One IT administrator who posted in April of this year found on an affected machine that the file was growing at roughly 1 to 2 megabytes per minute as long as location services were enabled. That is between 1 and 3 gigabytes per day on a machine with normal app activity. A 256 gigabyte SSD can go from healthy to full in a matter of weeks, with no other explanation. The third is that the damage compounds. When your system drive fills completely, Windows cannot install updates. It cannot create restore points. Applications that write temporary files crash or freeze on launch. Windows Update itself cannot download patches because there is nowhere to put them. On one of the machines documented in the Microsoft thread, there were literally 0 bytes remaining on the C drive. The computer could barely function. And the fourth is what happened when the original poster called Microsoft Support. The support agent had never heard of the problem. She checked with a supervisor. When she came back, the official solution was to purchase a portable hard drive. Not to fix the file, not to explain the bug. Buy more hardware to work around a software defect that Microsoft's own operating system had created on millions of machines over months. There are 2 paths to fixing this, and which one you take depends on the current state of your machine. If you want the cleanest approach, start in safe mode. The reason is that the file is frequently locked while Windows is running normally, and users who tried to delete it in normal mode found the service was either fighting them or the file refused to release. Booting into safe mode stops the Capability Access Manager service automatically and gives you the cleanest access to the folder. To reach safe mode, hold the Shift key while clicking Restart from the Start menu. When the blue recovery screen appears, navigate through Troubleshoot, then Advanced Options, then Startup Settings, then Restart. Press 4 or F4 when the options appear. Windows will boot into safe mode without network services. Once in safe mode, open Command Prompt as administrator. Then take ownership of the folder, take own/F followed by the full path to the Capability Access Manager folder, then R/dy. Then grant your administrator account full permissions using icicles on the same path with grant administrators :F_T. Then delete only the WAL log file, not the main database, using the Dell command targeting the *.db-wal file in that folder. Leave the main.db file completely alone. Then restart your PC normally. If you prefer to attempt the fix without entering safe mode, the critical step is stopping the service before you touch anything. Open the Run dialog, type services.mismis, and scroll to Capability Access Manager service listed as CAMS-VC. Right-click and select Stop. Users who tried to delete the file before stopping the service found it stuck in a stopping loop. Stop the service first, then run the same ownership, permissions, and deletion commands above. After restarting normally, Windows recreates the log file automatically. It should return to a few megabytes rather than tens of gigabytes. Watch it for the next day or two. If it starts climbing again quickly, you may have a secondary cause. One documented secondary cause affects Dell laptops specifically. Multiple users in the Microsoft thread, including one who posted in April and another in the same thread later, found the file refilling within hours of the fix. The culprit in their cases was a Dell network management application called SmartByte, which pulls app permissions repeatedly in a loop and hammers the Capability Access Manager service with constant requests that prevent the log from ever flushing properly. Uninstalling SmartByte stopped the regrowth on every Dell machine where users tried it. As a side effect, several of those users also reported gaining 200 to 300 megabytes per second of network speed after SmartByte was gone. The second path to fixing this is the official Microsoft patch, which is now available. On June 23rd of this year, Microsoft released an optional preview update for Windows 11 versions 24H2 and 25H2. The update number is KB5095093. The relevant line in Microsoft's own release notes reads, "This update improves disk space usage for the CapabilityAccessManager.db-wal file." That is the official acknowledgement. 7 words that confirm Microsoft knew, shipped a fix, and said as little as possible about it. To install it, open Settings, go to Windows Update, select Advanced Options, and look for optional updates. You are looking for KB5095093. If it does not appear, it will arrive automatically as part of the next Patch Tuesday cumulative update, the mandatory monthly security rollout that reaches every Windows 11 machine. There is one caveat the patch notes leave unresolved. Microsoft's wording says it improves disk space usage going forward. What it does not confirm is whether it automatically shrinks a file that has already grown to 60 or 90 or 150 gigabytes. Some users who patched and rebooted found the file trimmed down. Others found it stopped growing but stayed at its bloated size. If your file is already large, install the patch and reboot, then check the file size again. If it shrank, the update handled the cleanup. If it holds steady, run the manual fix above to reclaim the space, then let the patch prevent it from happening again. Here is how to check whether your machine is currently affected. Go to Settings, then System, then Storage. Click Show More Categories if the option appears. Find the row labeled System and Reserved. On a healthy Windows 11 machine, that number typically sits near 40 gigabytes. If it reads 60, 80, 100 gigabytes or higher without an obvious explanation, the Capability Access Manager log is a strong candidate for what is consuming it. To confirm, paste C:\ProgramData /Microsoft/Windows /Capability Access Manager directly into the File Explorer address bar. If the folder opens, right-click the file named CapabilityAccessManager.db-wal and check its size. Anything above a few megabytes means the bug is active on your machine. Anything measured in gigabytes means you need to act before it gets worse. If the folder does not open at all, that is itself a signal. An inaccessible folder in a location most users have never navigated to, holding a file that grows without limit, invisible to every cleanup tool Windows provides. That is the shape of this bug. That is why it ran undetected on millions of machines for months before enough users connected the dots and forced Microsoft to acknowledge it. If this helped you find storage you did not know was gone, subscribe. This channel covers this kind of issue.